I've been involved in hairdressing for quite a long time. And throughout that time, I've met some great hairdressers. I've worked with some great hairdressers. You know, I'm constantly inspired and I love a success story. And today I'm with Richard Phillipart, and he has a fantastic story to tell. He's going to show through hard work, dedication and talent how much you can achieve in this fantastic industry. He runs a successful salon and he's a highly respected session hairdresser working at shows throughout the world for magazines, and he's won many accolades within the industry. So thanks for coming along, Richard.
No, thank you for a marvellous introduction.
Well, I tell you, the first question I've got to ask, did you always want to be a hairdresser?
Yeah, hairdressing is something that I've always loved doing. I started working in a salon when I was just 13 years old. So
13?
yeah, I've done it, 13. So a very long time now.
And then how did you, when you started work, what was your first job then?
I started as a Saturday boy, just brushing the floor and cleaning the shelves, and just fell in love. I absolutely loved it. And I was lucky enough, the salon that I worked in could see how passionate I was and how much I wanted to be a hairdresser, that they used to let me come in when I was still at school on the training nights. I'd bring friends in, and I started being able to cut hair and stuff when I was still at school.
No, I heard someone told me that you did a show or something really early on.
Yeah, my first hair show was when I was just 16, and like just straight after leaving school.
Right. Well, that's fantastic. And then, so tell me, so you went on and you've got your own salon. So when did you do that?
Yeah, I opened my first salon when I was 22. 22, yeah. With just a small salon with 6 chairs. And we were there for 3 years, and we outgrew that space, moved to a bigger space with 11 chairs for 5 years, and then we outgrew that, and we've now got a bigger space again with 21 chairs and 19 members of staff working for me.
And are they the various levels, stylists and?
Yeah, all the way from apprentices right the way through to master stylists. Yeah.
Well, apprentices is something we really want to talk about, so we'll come back to that a bit later. But
yeah.
How, you know, we talked about being a session hairdresser. I'd love to come back to salon later, but for those that are new to the industry or just thinking about hairdressing and career, can you tell us what is a session hairdresser? Yeah,
so the way that I would describe session hairdressing is being able to tell stories through hair. So it's working on photo shoots, in magazines and campaigns, at shows, and helping to take a creative idea and realise it through hair.
Well, I have a lot of respect for session. I mean, I've done a few things in hairdressing, but I never really could crack it session hairdressing.
Yeah.
I think you've got a great confidence and self-belief in doing that. So how did you break? Did you enter competitions yourself, or how did you get noticed?
Yeah, when I was 25, I entered a competition and won a mentoring program called the ID Artist program. And as part of that, they took us out of our salons and taught us about all the different aspects of hairdressing. So they taught us how to speak on stage at trade shows, how to write education. And one of the things was working on a photo shoot, working at Fashion Week. And we got to go and work at Graduate Fashion Week, where I was spotted by the booker who books the people for London Fashion Week, and that was my sort of step through the door.
If you're not in it, you can't win it, can you?
You've
got to put yourself out there. And so that happened. I mean, but then it's still a big step to get into working on the collections, on the shows. How did that come about? When
I first got the opportunity to work at London Fashion Week, it was just for working, I think, at 2 shows. And I realised quite quickly after the show, I sort of had nowhere to go and sat and watched the pantomime of Fashion Week happening, all the designers and the paparazzi and everything, and just sort of sat and watched it and realised I could see the hairdressers sort of coming and going all in black with their suitcases. So every day that week I talked to anyone wearing black in a coffee shop around Fashion Week and sort of talked my way backstage. And it was pre-social media, so there was no way that there is now that you can contact people directly. That wasn't available, so I had to just get out there and talk to people. Now,
I know your salon is in Cheshire, it's in Ellesmere Port.
Yeah.
So you're not working in one of the top London salons, so you didn't live in London. So
no.
It's an expensive city. How did you manage to afford being in London that time?
At that point, I would stay in hostels and stay, once I'd made friends down there, stay on people's couches and stuff, and just sort of figured it out. Yeah, that was what I wanted to do with my life. It was what I was passionate about, and rather than going on holidays and stuff, I invested into that.
And you were still coming back to the salon then to work?
Yeah,
I presume you had your own salon then?
I did, yeah. I had the salon from 22, so I was going and working at Fashion Week and then coming back and working in the salon, which I still do now.
You say it's all about connections and sort of making yourself known. You must have assisted some of the big names at the time.
Yeah, the best way to sort of find your feet in working in session is to assist people that inspire you. And I've been lucky over the years to work with some incredible session stylists and learn lots from them. People like Sam McKnight, who was Princess Diana's hairdresser, and he was the lead hairdresser for Chanel at the time that I was assisting him. Eugene Sullivan, who's an incredible hairdresser, I worked for a number of years as well, and you just take all of the thing that they can give you and hope that helps to develop your personal taste and craft.
And then your own opportunities come, because let's talk more about you now. So how did that come, where you led your own team at a show?
It sort of grew slowly. I started doing my own photo shoots and my own sort of campaigns, and then you would sort of start to get recognised. You'd work with different stylists, different creative directors, and they would sort of bring you on board to do those things. And
can you just sort of, I love name dropping, any sort of whose shows you've worked on and things like that?
Over the years, from assisting right up to now, fabulous shows, sort of Chanel, Dior, Balenciaga, Vivienne Westwood, countless Vivienne Westwood shows. I've had really great opportunities.
Now, you do your own shows.
Yes.
And I follow you on social media, so I see, tell me where the shows are. Whereabouts are they then?
So the show season starts in New York. So we do about 7 days in New York, and then it comes to London for a week, and then we go to Milan and then to Paris. So it's about a month of shows at a time that we travel
and
for.
And that repeats, twice a year?
There's 6 seasons a year. So we have men's twice. The men's shows are twice a year. Wow. The women's shows are twice a year. The couture shows are only in Paris. They're twice a year. And then there's little resort shows and different ones that
you must
pop
have a lot
up.
of them.
There's a lot that goes on. Yeah, it's very busy.
And who works with you on the shows? I mean, do you employ these people, or do they work with you? How does it work?
I have a core team, Team Phillipart, that work with me on all of my projects, that travel all over the world with me. And then we bring extra people on board, and depending on how many hands we need.
And I presume the people are like you back in the day, they're knocking on the door saying, "Can I come and work for you?"
Absolutely, but the door nowadays is social media, so we're constantly getting people contacting through messages on social media, reaching out to assist. And
where have you just been? What's the last show you've just done?
We've just done the men's fashion week, so I've just come back from Milan and Paris.
Yeah, I had a look at the work. I mean, I don't know how you get that texture. I'm going to have to ask you afterwards how you get that amazing texture in your hair. I mean, you've worked on so many shows, but is there any one that really stand out, or something when you came away and thought, wow, I really smashed the hair on that show?
One of my favourite shows was one that we did for a men's fashion week, one that I did for a brand called Kid Super. They wanted the models to look like marionettes, to look like puppets. And the runway had these huge fibre glass hands that walked the runway with the models with strings, and they were attached to the strings as they went along. That was a fabulously exciting show. And if you look up the hair that we did for that, we did this, it was inspired by Victorian marionettes. So the hair had to look sort of plastic, like plastic hair that had been painted onto them. And that was a really fun project to work on.
I bet. In terms of the hierarchy, when you come to a fashion show, does the designer tell you that's how I want the hair? Or do you look at the clothes and then you say to the designer, that's how the hair should be?
It's different working with different designers. So a lot of the designers that I've got a good relationship with, that we've been working for a long time, we'll talk about a show for months or weeks running up to it, bounce ideas back into over emails and WhatsApps. But we always do what's called a fit-in. So there'll be myself, someone from makeup, someone from dressing, that will all meet together at the designer's studio. They'll talk us through the clothes, the ideas, and we'll get to see the outfits. And then the beauty team, the hair, makeup, nails and styling will work together to come up with some looks. And have a model there, we'll try out the looks, they'll put the clothes on. A lot of the time there's a catwalk in the middle of the offices, and the models will walk, and we'll see it from different angles. And that's how a look comes together. So
as they say, fail to prepare, prepare to
absolutely.
fail. You've really got to be...
It's super important to have a great eye, but also to be well referenced when we're working with designers, and they'll talk about architecture and art and shows or old cinema. It's important that you know what those references are. So being well read and well versed in that is super important in this industry.
And I imagine the more you do, the more, as I say, practice makes perfect. You probably pick up ideas and get inspired as you're working with hair and think, I'll use that on another show. You've come across something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, in a fashion week, if you're in Milan or in New York or wherever, there's back-to-back shows. So are you seeing sometimes models for the first time?
We don't really tend to see the models before a show. The more we do it, and you'll see similar faces at the shows and get to know some of the models quite well. But a lot of the time, shows will want a new face, so a lot of the time it is new people. And
will the models have come from another show with their hair already done?
Yeah.
What do you do then? What do you do then?
It's not very glamorous, but we have to wash their hair over toilets, in sinks, in bathrooms, and we're always prepared with bottles of shampoo and towels.
So what's your tip? Say, for example, because I always say when you're putting hair up, you should, make sure the hair's not too soft. Well, obviously, if you just washed it. So how do you get the hair, the texture right to put it back up again?
Depending on what it is that we're trying to achieve, we use a lot of mousses, a lot of salt sprays backstage to really get that slightly grainy texture that we want to the hair to help to mold it. And they would be the two sort of main products that we would use to create that look.
I think it's such a great skill what you do. I look at things like the Oscars and you see these Hollywood stars and they look like their hair's just been gathered back, but it hasn't just been gathered out. Is that a hard look to achieve?
It's a hard look to achieve, and it's something that you really have to train your eye for. Session styling isn't about messy hair. It's purposely there. There's a story behind it, whether it's windswept or it looks like it's been rained on. There's so much thought and purpose goes into the amount of moisture in the hair or the amount of frizz that is achieved. It's not just messy for the sake of being messy.
There must be so many young people watching this thinking, I want to be doing what Richard's doing. So how does a young person get into hairdressing?
For me, the best place to start out is an apprenticeship. Would be to look in your local area, your wider local area, what salons they have, look at their social medias, what is the style of hairdressing that you want to work in, and then reach out to them salons and try and be a part of it.
Absolutely. So if they apprentice has successfully been taken on by you, what's a typical week? What happens?
Yeah, for our apprentices, we do 4 days working in the salon where they will be shampooing, assisting, helping with the stylist throughout their day. They then do a day release to a training provider, and we do half a day of in-salon training as well. Okay.
Well, we've got a little interest here because we're very proud to say that you have chosen, Boutique Atelier has chosen Collinge Co training to be your training provider. And you send your apprentices to us 1 day a week.
Yes, they do a paid day release to you.
Yeah. And you're happy with the way it's going?
Yeah, but we've been with Collinge Co for over 10 years. Yeah, we're very pleased.
That's good to hear. Yeah. That's great. I said in my introduction about your hard work and dedication. It shows, and you really put yourself out there and you've got yourself noticed. So what tip would you give to an apprentice in, say, a busy salon to get noticed?
Yeah, it's just for a young apprentice to get noticed in the salon, making sure that all of the practicing that you're doing, if you're doing any hair at home, on your friends, on your family, that you're taking pictures and videos and making sure that the important people in the salon are seeing them, show them every week what you've been practicing on, your head of education, your manager, show them that you're passionate and you're doing things outside of just your small training session that you might have each week.
That's brilliant, that's great advice.
Yeah. And also another great thing for apprentices, if you're wanting to get along in the salon, is to take that time to not just look at social media and follow great hairdressers on there, but also look at the trade magazines that are in the salon and in your staff room. Find out what's happening in the industry, are there competitions you can be a part of, are there young art teams you can reach out for, but just trying to broaden your horizon on what's happening to outside of the salon doors is really important.
Brilliant. Well, you know what? I think, I said right at the beginning, I love a success story. I think it's amazing what you're doing, and you've got so far. What's your ambition? What's your next thing?
It's difficult to say. Everything that I could have ever dreamed as a young apprentice, I've far exceeded. So it's every different thing that comes along is just a blessing.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Congratulations on everything you've done, and I'm sure you're going to achieve a lot more. And thanks for coming along for us. And also, for someone listening to this who's thinking of hairdressing as a career, and I know hairdressing is one of the best kept secrets. You can have a fantastic career, can't you?
Absolutely. The hairdressing is such a varied craft, and it can take you in so many different directions and take you all over the world. Yeah, it's really brilliant.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's great. Thank you.